Hey, guess what? Classical Theist actually posted a response to my video. Take a look at this comment and see how it's all exactly what I said about him all through the video. This is what always happens when philosophical illiterates take on Thomistic philosophy. Ha ha ha! Hey, I got a little tip for you there, sunshine. Why don't you check out a guy's channel before making embarrassing comments like this? My regular viewers find this comment so hilarious. So tell me, what exactly is a philosophical illiterate other than someone who disagrees with you? They can't properly distinguish between metaphysical principles that are presupposed by empirical investigation and the findings of empirical investigations themselves. Oh my God, metaphysical principles are not presupposed by empirical investigation. They're derived logically from first principles. Who's the philosophical illiterate here? While true that I should have added an additional segment of the video to take into account anti-essentialist arguments from reductionism and show that even on those grounds you can't escape essentialism even at the most reduced level, in what way do you think any of that would argue against what I said? You need to rule out the possibility of bottom-up spontaneous organization, which will be pretty difficult since we have numerous examples of it actually happening. You didn't really reply to the argument from change that would establish essences. Yes, I did. Stop lying. From principles that science must presuppose to even get off the ground, namely the reality of change as such. Science presupposes no such thing. Change is just what we find when we look everywhere. But if science ever did find a system that was unchanging, it would study that for what it is. Science doesn't really presuppose anything. This is the same garbage we get from creationists all the time, and for the same reason. Science is fundamentally about asking one question. How would the universe appear different if this hypothesis were true versus how it would appear if the hypothesis were false? That's really all science does. It's a way of testing reality. And as I pointed out in the video, everything you said fails those tests repeatedly. They were not metaphysical principles or any other set of principles. They were statements about reality. Statements that can be tested, statements that have been tested, and statements that have failed each and every one of those tests. Even if reductionism is true and any perceived shared unity we experience is illusory, which I don't grant, I don't care what you grant. Can you refute it? There's a book by David S. Soderbergh that you should blah, 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 blah. And what did I tell you? What did I say before any of this started? I said right in the comments of my original video, before I made my response to this schmendrick, that this would just be a wild goose chase. Look at this. Okay, you respond to that. No, look at this. You respond to that. No, look over here. We're on the third iteration of this, and now he wants a fourth. Do we need any more evidence of what I was talking about? And notice that he does not say anything about the fundamental debunking of his nonsense. The fact that the universe is probabilistic. How his so-called essences, every single example he gave, was just an arbitrary human category. How do you rule out infinite regress? How you need to show that there even is a prime mover, and if there is, how you limit it to only one prime mover and not a million. The refutations of Laplace's demon. And mostly, notice how he has no response to the idea that so many of his concepts can explain everything and therefore are completely incapable of explaining anything at all. But I guess since his education stopped at the 1300s, he never ran into Karl Popper. He says he'll be making a response. Well, buddy, I just told you the bullet points you'd need to cover to do a proper response. You could do it in 10 minutes if you really do have a good response. Otherwise, you'll ramble on for more than half an hour talking over and around everything because you still haven't listened to the advice I've given about how to recognize when you're confused.